Hello, welcome back to the fourth session of Hearts of Wulin. Today, one of our players couldn't be here, Kurt, and so we have someone else just taking their place for this session, which is Jean, and we're very excited about that. But first, we're gonna go back to character introductions so we can remind ourselves of who we all are. So why don't we start with Perfected Starfall?
Sure. Perfected Starfall is the head of the martial arts school for the um, Meteor Grace clan, who kind of have a controlling presence in this town and just generally do a lot of stuff for this area. So let's check out her entanglements. Her romantic entanglement. Oh, wrong way. Is I love Gentleman Bao Yin, who unfortunately isn't here with us today. But my clan member, Many-Tempered Xiaohu, is engaged to them. And my general entanglement is that my friend Sour Sadness Bear suspects Graven Hunter of evil, but I currently remain steadfastly loyal. We'll see how that goes.
Great. And let's see the order of this. Many Terma Xiaohu.
Okay. I'm playing Mini-Tempered Xiaohu, the Bravo favorite eldest of the Meteor Grace clan. That means basically he's a spoiled rich boy who is basically flaunting his wealth through various public and not quite as public displays. He may also be involved in some sort of unsavory activity. No one's been able to prove this yet, obviously, but that's not for lack of trying. His entanglements are that the local authority / magistrate Harmonious Owl hints that they know of my shady dealings against my mentor, Perfected Starfall, and their family. And his romantic entanglement is that he is engaged to gentleman Bao Yin, but only knows them through their original name of Nanfeng, which Bao Yin has not revealed to him yet. But he has fallen in love with their sibling, Dancer of Loss, who is the one who may be the new Jade Serpent.
Okay, and Graven Hunter.
Hey there. My name's Eduardo. I go by he, him. I'm playing Graven Hunter, also he, him. Graven Hunter is hidden. Essentially, he is concealing his mastery of martial arts towards some purpose or goal. In this case, he's charged with finding the villain, Jade Serpent, and he's hidden his true identity as a member of the Many Venom sect. In the course of trying to accomplish this, he's become friends with Gentleman Bao Yin, and is an admirer of Perfected Starfall. That perfect segue is my romantic entanglement. I love Perfected Starfall, but have sworn revenge against their friend Sour Sadness Bear. And my general entanglement is that I suspect my friend Gentleman Bao Yin, that his parent is the villain Dongfeng, the Jade Serpent.
Very cool. And last time, like two sessions ago, where we left off with you is that you received another secret message communication, right?
Yes, that
From
sounds
the Many
right.
Venom sect. Great. Yeah?
Yes, I was just looking for my notes.
Oh, okay. That's what I remember. Okay, so let's hear about Red Ray.
Oh, okay. That's me. Red Ray goes by he, him, and he is of hold on. Hold on. I clicked the wrong thing. Okay. So from the Frosthearth Palace, which is the the Fallen House, I believe, or Fallen faction. He's the outsider. I don't have entanglements yet. So do you want to talk about the entanglements?
Yes, but actually before that, I want to talk to you about your faction. So I should have given you a little bit of a primer. I mean, you can still go with this choice, it's fine. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we know about the factions that are currently in play. So there's the Many Venom sect, there's the Meteor Grace clan, and then there's the Frost Earth Palace. So the Frost Earth Palace is where basically Kurt's character is from, and some of the other NPCs that I've mentioned are from there as well. And yes, it's a destroyed clan, and they have a lot of like, they're seemingly a couple of the women from the clan. I think all of the NPCs from the clan have been women so far, and they all seem to know about this plot that has to do with a known villain called the Jade Serpent, who just like has like the worst reputation ever. And they all keep referring to something about justice needs to be repaid and something like that. So that's Frost Earth Palace. And then the Meteor Grace clan is kind of like the head honcho of this local area, and they generally seem to be a pretty big and widespread clan because two of our PCs right now are from there. It's so Perfecta Starfall is kind of more local, and then Maritime Michelle, who has been traveling with the Meteor Grace clan and then came to this town and then was kind of stuck with some tasks maybe. So, and what is like the overarching plot of this whole story is that there's been an announcement from the Jade Serpent that she's gonna have a washing of hands ceremony. So she's gonna be like, I'm done being a villain, or just like being a part of the Wulin world, and I'm going to just kind of retire basically. And then all of the other factions are like, oh hell no. Like you done wrong to many people, like we can't let you just do that. And so the Many Venom sect, we don't know a lot about them yet. They seem to be a very secretive faction. They communicate solely through messages and letters, and they sent Graven Hunter out on this mission to find out about the Jade Serpent, maybe with some other intentions in mind, other than just information gathering, but we're not sure yet. So they're still a cipher right now. With all of that context in mind, do you still want to go with Frost Earth Palace, or would you like to choose another one?
I could go any direction, but I'll switch to Many Venoms just so we'll give some balance, I think.
Eduardo, are you cool with that?
Totally cool.
Excellent. Ooh, okay. This has more potential now. Huh, okay. And also, I guess, Gene, I forgot to give you a primer on like the context that we're playing in. We're playing like everyone is a part of the Wulin world. So the Wulin world is like where but you've read all the text that that Lowell has written. So yeah, so this is the Wulin world where people like really care about matters of the Wulin world and seemingly is a little detached from like imperial structures. So this is we don't have to worry as much about like, you know, like official rules and or like historical context necessarily. So yeah. Okay, so Many Venom sect. Actually, I have questions about your fighting style. So I see that you've chosen Unfallen Dragon. And your weapon of choice is flexible. What does that mean?
Well, I picked it from your list, but I imagine it's chains.
Okay.
So, and you know, I'm not sure what the Chinese version is, but Amenriki Gusari or something like that. So, chain and weight is usually the kind of weapon it is.
Okay. That sounds really cool. Yeah, you can put that in there instead of just flexible. Okay, and your background is you're a rebel. Um What are you rebelling against?
I think I'm rebelling against my original faction.
So the Many Venom sect?
I think so, yes.
Excellent. Excellent. That's great. All right. Okay. And then you have the imposter, which is where you can assume a perfect disguise until it might fail. And you have sword will travel, which is once per session you may announce your presence in the perfect place to help someone. I like that the help is in quotes, ignoring the limits of time, distance, or plausibility. Great. Okay. And you have a secret group of like-minded individuals who may help you to rebel against the Many Venom sect. Great. Okay, so we have all of this in mind, and you see all of the other entanglements that are existing. Now we will go to picking entanglements for you. Actually, should we go through to see if any of the entanglements should be changed for the rest of y'all? No, actually, yeah. Let's do red rays first, and then we can go and see for the others. So, yeah, there's the tab CC3 entanglements, where you can choose a romantic and a general entanglement for your character. Jean, I don't know if you've taken a look at it. Do you think you need time?
No, I'm
We
good.
can.
So I'm going to choose outsider general entanglement 1 or whatever, and that is I've learned my friend blank has been betrayed by their teacher blank, but they will never believe me.
Okay.
I'll tie it into Graven Hunter.
Huh.
So if that's fine with Eduardo. We go way back, Eduardo, so if there's a problem, let me know. And then I don't know who your teacher or our mutual teacher is, but who do you think your teacher is? I guess.
I'm gonna have to look at that name tab. Let's see. Of course, it's. Oh no, it's wrong list. Dang it.
Number 1 scholar.
Why not Green Saber Jakai? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Green.
Jaiqi.
J. Oh, it's misspelled. Hold on. It's supposed to be JIA. It's Jachi.
Jachi.
Q is always pronounced like CH in English.
Gotcha.
Green Saber Jachi. Ooh, Green Saber. Oh, okay. Everyone is still. I like that you're staying on point with the imagery. That's good.
It's all about the green theme. Yeah.
That will only make it harder for me to remember. Okay. Graven Hunter has been betrayed by their teacher Green Saber Jachi, but they will never believe you. Oh, that's so good. I'm very excited about that. Do we have a gender for Green Saber Jachi? Since Jean is still busy looking at entanglements, I'm gonna ask you, Eduardo.
Okay, sure. I would say she, her.
She, her. This game is full of women NPCs. Time to look for more. Okay. I'll pick a picture for her. So what do you think your relationship is like with Green Saber Jachi, your teacher?
I think that Graven Hunter would be sort of like a what's the adjective I'm looking for? Disciplined pupil. Just he does everything the teacher says, and
Okay.
so lends himself therefore to be basically taken advantage of. How about that? Or betrayed. That seem
Okay.
reasonable?
Sure. And like, what if if Graven Hunter were to describe Green Seirajachi in one word or two words, what do you think they would be?
Stern and unpredictable. How about that?
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Hmm.
All right. Still looking for pictures. Great. And Red Ray, how's it looking with the romantic entanglements?
It's gonna be a while.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
lot. There's a lot of these.
That's true. You're right. There are a lot. Um, oh man, stern and unpredictable. That's so good. I mean, we can take a brief break and then come back. And during the break, everyone can look at your entanglements and then see. Yeah, many venoms. Every single faction has their own intense thing. We need to have more drama with uh, with your faction, Perfected Starfall. There's not enough. And Eduardo, whichever one you choose, it's fine. You can just go with it. But let's take a brief break. Let's take 5, and then you can also, if you want, take a look at your entanglements and see if they apply. And then when we come back, we can just like breeze through them.
So how are you doing this now? Are you doing it where the ones and the ones specific to the playbook are the ones you should choose from, or is it anything from column E?
You could do both. They're the ones that are associated with the playbooks are just recommendations.
Yeah, this is only hard because I'm coming in the middle of the game. If this were the beginning, it'd be easy.
Right. So what are you thinking of?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking of. I'm going to make this simple though, and just choose this randomly. That doesn't work either.
Okay, I'm gonna look
The
at
reason it's hard is because I don't know the other characters as well.
right. Let's see.
So is Chris's character is Perfected Starfall the mentor of Chris's character?
Yes.
Okay. And then who's Gentleman Baoyin?
Gentleman Baoyin is Kurt's character.
Okay. All right. What does this mean by as Nanfeng?
Oh, right. So he has two identities. his like old identity when he was a part of Frost Earth Palace. So his like birth name is Nanfeng. But then he gave himself a different name when he decided to investigate what's the deal with the Jade Serpent. Who and so his mother, who he thinks is his mother, and his mother's name is Dongfeng, I think. So those are the two different
Okay.
names.
So clearly missing Kurt kind of destroys more than half of these entanglements.
Yeah, so you can kind of do whatever,
All right.
basically.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'll just choose the first one under. No, wait, no.
I fled so and so because of heartache, because of the heartache, but so and so, their lover, has called me back to honor a debt.
No, I'll first I'll ignore that call that's coming in. See, I don't even understand what that means. I fled from a blank. Is that a person? Or is that a
Wait,
place?
I fled from so and
Blank
so. Yeah, it's a person. They're all supposed to be people.
people.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I want to involve other characters other than Graven Hunter.
Yeah. So one of these that could be fun is I love so and so, but I know a dark secret about so and so who they adore. Um,
Yeah, well,
and another one of these that could be interesting is because one of these can be an NPC, right? So,
yeah.
for example, like I am wed to so and so, but I know they actually pine for so and so. So you can be wed to an NPC, and then they could pine for, or whatever. Like,
Yeah, well, we're not going to make this hard. We're going to choose the one you recommended just then. What did you recommend? Oh, the dark secret one. Okay, so I'll go and copy this in. Yeah, I don't want to tie up the game any longer.
people love dark secrets about other people. I feel like that
So,
was a lot of Eduardo's as well.
so I'll make that Perfected Starfall.
You love
And
Perfected Starfall?
yeah, and that means that I can either use Kurt or Chris as the second blank. Even though like the Adore is a little tricky if it's a mentorship kind of thing.
Yeah, we can go with let's go with Many Timer Xiaohu then, Chris's character. Just
Yeah,
because.
we can change Adore to something close to that. Or
Um,
we can keep it a little ambiguous to see how it plays out.
no, I think that's good. Yeah, and it could also be like your impression, your character's impression of like the adorer may be different from their impression or like how they feel. But okay, so Chris, aka Manitoba Shahu, I want to know like what other dark secret does Red Ray know about Manitoba Shahu that's different from Harmonious Owl's impression, which is just like, oh, like bad business deals.
Those are very good business deals. She's
Mhm.
just bitter. She's just bitter. Let's see. I think what I think. Well, for my level up, I picked the move heads for sale, which gives me some sort of weird underworld connections. So I think maybe maybe Gene's character Red Ray can know that Xiaohu has been involved in dealings with actual criminals. Like maybe he's been involved in like the in moving stolen goods and things like that. Maybe
How
maybe
about you either made a call for someone to be killed or you answered the call and killed someone?
I can go
That's
either way with that.
that's a common exchange in the illegal market in the
Xiaohu.
Wulin world, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Xiaohu would probably be more in the line of calling for somebody to be killed rather than doing the deed himself. So I could see that being the end of it.
So, which one of the characters that we know did you call to be killed?
Hmm. Let me think. Well, it couldn't be perfected Starfall because we established as part of the bond that he adores her. So,
No, that she adores him.
oh, she adores me. Oh well.
Which is totally true. So,
Well,
I mean, it's more of a teacher-student adore, but still.
Xiaohu is naturally adorable. Ah, gosh. If that's the route, then I could see like at some point in the past he had
Oops.
called for perfected Starfall to be killed because she was on the verge of uncovering some of his uh, business arrangements, and that would have caused his family embarrassment and possibly ended with him being disinherited. That never came to pass, so he, maybe the contract was withdrawn at some point, but it was floating out there.
Or just a
Interesting.
suggestion, you could go with Razor Eyes Gogsun, since he's the one who asked me to investigate you anyway.
Oh, that would be a little bit that would make Shahu feel a little bit better. I think, yeah, he'd be okay with going after Razor Eyes.
Cool.
Will that work, Agatha?
Yeah, that works for me. And this is what you know, Red Ray.
Okay.
Okay. And I see you have your bonds. Great. So let's start so Red Ray, you just came into town. Actually no. Let's start with Graven Hunter. So Graven Hunter, you received a message. And the message gave a time and a location. The location is one of the side streets that's pretty close to the center of town. And the time is midday when it's the hottest and everyone goes inside to rest.
All right. So I guess I'd try to, knowing that there's not that much street action, I guess I would try to be as inconspicuous as possible.
Okay, you can successfully be as inconspicuous as you want because everyone is inside. Because
Literally, gotcha.
yeah, don't know if we established the season. Did we establish the season?
I don't recall that we did.
All right, so it's summer.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And it's freaking hot, and there's the sound of cicadas, as there always is, and they are very loud. They're like aggressively loud. And you can feel yourself sweating, even though you're very trained in martial arts, and that usually makes a person be able to regulate their own body temperature a little better. But still, it's so hot.
Mhm.
And how are you trying to like be inconspicuous?
I think that I would. I just want to check one thing real quick before I say. Okay. So I think I'd probably just have sort of. I don't dress in a fanciful way. I don't adorn myself with like, a lot of jewelry. I mean,
Mhm.
that's just not Graven Hunter's style at all. So I mean, he's pretty much just in sort of commoner's clothes. I mean, although the streets are completely empty, at some
Mhm.
point, sort of the regular hum and traffic, of the day will start to kick in, and um, I think I think the goal would be to be able to blend in as quickly as possible.
Great.
Might wear a hat over his head. Is the straw hat, sort of like a culturally appropriate for the summer? I mean,
Yeah,
to block away the sun.
that's when it's usually worn. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Cool.
keeps you cool. I just realized that I forgot to ask about entanglements. That if there's any that anyone feels like doesn't apply anymore. Let's just very quickly. Does anyone feel like they don't apply? Give me a thumbs up if you feel like they don't need to be changed, so I can have a visual cue. Great. And then also make sure you highlight one of them for this session so that we all know to try to hit that one. I feel like some of these are pretty self-explanatory since some of them aren't here. Refracted Starfall, Sarah Sanisbear. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna say that you're walking like trying to be very casual, so in a way blend in by not standing out. And you walk to the designated location,
Hmm.
and when you walk into that side street, there's no one there.
Okay. So I vaguely remember that we had said we'd use sort of like messenger pigeons. Does this
Yes.
sort of ring a bell at all? And I imagine Graven Hunter sort of unrolls this very small piece of paper, and where there's sort of just scrawled the the instructions to be here at this time, and just sort of does a double check. I mean, internal sort of monologue. Is this the right place? But I'm the only one here.
Hmm. Yeah, and then as you're studying that that piece of paper, uh, what happens? Oh, actually, you feel the whistle of wind of something attacking you.
Okay.
Mm.
um, I would spin around. That would be my first reaction. I mean, I guess if I'm going to be surprised, it's got to be from behind me.
Hmm. Okay. How do we want to do this? Interestingly enough, like when you spin around, and I'm gonna I'm assuming you get to jump back a little bit,
Mhm.
which is fine. Or you catch. Do you try to catch what was going at you?
Um, no. I mean, keeping in mind, I guess that I'm trying to hide my martial arts mastery.
Hmm.
I think I would just take a very, just very conservative moves. I'd really just try to be very reserved. So step back, maybe step to the side,
Hmm.
and just try to avoid and understand the situation, or see, what was it?
Yeah, and you see someone wearing the same kind of hat as you, and their face is kind of covered in the shadows. And when you step back, they kind of laugh and they say, "Hmm, so you do know how to fight."
Who are you? What do you want?
Are you trying to study them?
Yes.
I'll get you to roll that. Um,
Yeah.
while you're rolling that, provide a starfall. So, do you still want to mark your romantic entanglement, considering that Gentleman Balian is not here?
I do, because I'm trying to get the engagement broken off between Shahu and him, which I can still pursue. So
Okay, sounds good.
So do we need to declare an element or?
Yes. Yes. What
Yes.
element are you rolling with? Oh, you have two elements marked.
I
Oof.
know. Yes, that's been simmering in the back of my mind. Like, I gotta clear these.
You gotta get someone to comfort and support you, or you need to demonstrate how amazing you are by impressing other people.
But that goes against my DNA, impressing people and revealing who I am. So I'm going to roll with Earth. I'm going to be very cautious, focused, and maintain my presence.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Let's see how that goes.
So that's a 5 plus a 2 is a 7.
Okay. Good.
Thank
So you
goodness.
get to ask one question, or you get to declare one detail. And you can ask a question about the person, you can ask about the situation, you can try to learn their scale.
Oh, yeah, those are some great choices. I think I am more interested in finding out and having this person sort of identify themselves. I'm going to stick with my initial impression of, who are you? Or my initial question of who are you?
Mm. And he let's see. He takes a step closer. And you're both like still in like safe fighting distance, but he takes a step closer and he just kind of like pushes up the brim of his hat a little bit and he says, "So you're the other one that they sent to this town." And for audiences and also for the other players that were here this the last session, they would recognize him as the really casual guard for Harmonious Owl, who was like, "Oh, I don't care about my job." That guy. And now it's him.
So would I recognize him?
You may.
Am I?
This is a pretty small town.
Well, I'm inferring that this person is also a member of the Many Venom sect. Would I recognize them from the clan, I guess?
That depends on how much communication y'all's do face to face.
Ah, okay.
Do you think so? Do you think that you would be able to? I'll give that to you.
I guess I would imagine that, I guess I would imagine the way that works is maybe it's a school that just sort of incubates talent and just sort of spins them off, you know what I mean? And then, perhaps it's, there isn't like a national conference or anything like that. It's like we just go out and just do what the
Yeah.
Many Venom sect tells us to do at that point.
So what's the defining like how can you tell when each other is from that school? I feel like it's not as easy as just some kind of badge because anyone can steal a badge.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Is it some kind of like tattoo or something?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of something more clever, but yeah, perhaps a branding, perhaps, it's something that someone wouldn't do to themselves frivolously.
Mm.
Plus, it's got like a specific sort of, signature to it. Or does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So perhaps maybe at the, I'm not sure what you would call that, but like at the base of the neck, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay. So he kind of like tilts his head sideways and then just like he's scratching his neck, but then he
Hmm.
also pulls his shirt just a little bit lower, and you see enough of whatever is on there, which is what is it? Is it like is it a is it like a many-headed snake or something? Many venom
Many
sucked.
venom sacked. That would make perfect sense.
Yeah, or it could be some kind of poisonous flower. I don't know.
Yeah. Or it could be like a poisonous frog. Or
Yeah,
how about that? Yeah,
I like that.
let's go with that.
Can it be a many-headed frog? Somehow
uh,
not as threatening.
that's kind of interesting. I could imagine it. Yeah, I can imagine what that might look like. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kidding. We don't have to. It's your faction.
um, so can I make a declaration about the clan? Can I declare that, for example, that you never
No.
have two members in the same city, or is that too bold? Does that get out there too much?
With the study? You can I mean, if you want to just role play this out, you can always just do that and I will
Sure.
roll
I think
with it.
yeah, it's the latter that I meant. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So do you say something that has to do with that?
Yeah, yeah, there's never supposed to be more than two of our members in the same, village. What are you doing here? What do you
Hmm.
want?
Well, I think I was here first, but like, I'm not gonna fight you for this place. I was sent here to check on you because apparently you got relationships that could get in the way of doing your job right. And then he throws something really fast at you, which I'm assuming you catch.
I'm gonna try to catch this one. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. You can totally do it and just kind of
Okay.
catch it. And then it's a scroll. And when you unroll it, there's a very rough sketch, like water. What's the word? Ink sketch. Is that how it's done? Okay, whatever. I don't know what the terminology is. Um, of Red Ray, and this guy he says, "Your next target." You know, before all the Jade Serpent business. Remember that face, and then burn that shit.
Okay. Hmm. S- So what are you? I mean, are you gonna leave, or are you gonna stick around and watch me?
I guess I'm gonna stick around and watch you.
So I examine the scroll and just, I mean, acknowledging. I mean, my next target. Who is this? I mean, what can you tell me about this person?
You know this person. That's what I was told. That's what your teacher said. I burned her letter. But she said
So
that you would know him. So apparently you and Red Ray are supposed to be good friends, according to Red Ray's entanglement. So are you
gotcha.
trying to pretend that you don't know Red Ray?
Um, I would imagine that perhaps I haven't seen Red Ray since the school. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And uh, it's uh, it's a surprise to me that Red Ray is going to be near here. Again, thinking that there's typically just one sort of member of the clan in each hamlet or village or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. Um, hmm. So I am gonna just thinking this through. I am gonna pretend that I don't know who this is, and I'm gonna ask, you know, but why? I mean, what did this person do? I mean, what's their name and what's their crime?
Okay. I mean, you're.
If I'm gonna
He
go ahead.
shrugs and he's like, That's not my problem. That's not yours.
If I'm going to take somebody's life, I need to know, what they did. What did
Interesting.
they do to the clan to deserve this?
I think you should roll hearts and minds
Okay.
to
Got
try
a
to
few options.
convince him, right, that you actually don't know Red Ray, and also that he should tell you
Yes.
more.
Man, I don't have very many options here. I guess maybe oh gosh, I guess it naturally fits wood. It's that curiosity,
Okay.
Yeah, so rolling with 0. There we go, reroll. Oh gosh, that's awful.
What'd
3.
you roll? Okay. Mark that element. Oh gosh. You need someone to cover this up for you. Oh man.
I'm gonna
You're
have to unleash the kickassery very soon because I'm I'm running out of stuff.
Yeah. Hmm. This is very interesting. Yeah, he I think it's he leans back and it looks like he's about to say something. And I think this is when Red Ray, I think this is when you enter the scene.
Okay. Is it though? Really?
Do you not want it to be? That's
Not
fine.
really. I think that would put the like Graven Hunter having to come to grips with the whole thing way early. When I think it could cook a little bit.
You're only here for one session though.
I know. I'm saying you can mine it.
Okay. All right. So Red Ray has refused to appear in the scene. That is fine. So let's say instead, this guy who should really have a name. I'll come up with something. He. I think you're like asking this question, and there's like the camera goes to just like a drip of sweat that like falls into the dirt, and then the next I can't with words today.
Montage or scene?
No, fine. I'll come in and bail him out. So
no, it's fine. Hey,
no.
Then the next
I think
moment,
a chain comes screaming across, from off camera, wrapped itself around this guy's throat, and I just pull him up through the tree and hang him.
that doesn't make any sense. So let's finish this.
Trust me.
Well, if you want to, I mean, if you want to fight this person, you can roll duel.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have this moment finish first.
Okay.
From a failed roll. The next moment, you feel just like the press of a blade against your neck, and it's like it's this guy. Oh, you said casting blaze. Yeah, casting blaze. And he's kind of like his face is right beside yours, and he says, I see that you've taken on more than your initial goal of leaving the school. I think it'd do well for you to remember who you are and for what purpose you have been sent. And he steps back, and or maybe we can have at this moment. Red Ray, did you want to?
Yeah, I'll appear and I'll fight him. I think the chain comes screaming across the from off camera, wraps around a limb, and we'll do it up right here.
Okay, so you are dueling. So roll with your your style element, which is fire, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So do I mark that? This is
No.
a little. Okay.
So it's marked
Yeah.
basically when you fail a roll, or when sometimes the move will call for it and stuff like that.
All right.
When it's marked, you can't use that move. So you don't usually
All
mark
right.
it.
So I rolled a 5 plus 2 is 7.
Okay. He's on your scale. So for duel, if your foe is your scale on a 10 plus, no, not a 10 plus. On a 7 to 9, choose one. So you can either win at a cost, which is where you mark an element, or they escape, you lose phase, or another cost. Or you can narrate your loss, which means that you can mark XP and then take +1 for when you next face them. Or you may deadlock, which is where you may reveal a detail or ask a question about them. Casting Blaze.
I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna deadlock.
Okay. And like, kind of describe your fighting style to me.
Well, flexible is it's mostly to defeat like swords and that kind of thing, and it's kind of a hidden weapon kind of tactic. So I think the chain comes flying out of nowhere, but since we're from the same sect, he hears the characteristic whistle of the chain, and at the last moment moves his head slightly so the chain wraps around his arm. Then he pulls the chain and pulls me into the screen. There's some martial arts stuff, and yeah, it's mostly who can dominate the chain at that point, since they both have a hand in it, and that's how they deadlock.
Yeah, Casting Blaze has one of those. It's not like one of those like straight swords. It's the one that is like wider, and a little bit curved on one end and then straight on the other side. One of those. So it's like a heavier one, and that's what he fights with. And which is kind of not really similar to the fighting style of the Many Venom sect. Many Venom sect is often a little like sneakier, right, or a little more poisonous. But that's what he uses, and he goes at you pretty fast. And I want to know how you deadlock though. Like
I think
you're long distance and he's close distance.
Yeah, I think he pulls me in the screen, and our weapons become inextricably wrapped up in our hands.
Mhm.
So we literally cannot, hurt each other at a certain point.
Okay, that sounds good. And what would you like to ask or declare about him?
I think that the order that he claims to be from Green Sabers is forged.
Are you saying that is true? Are you declaring that, or are you saying that you think that it's because those are like your character?
We'll go for the latter because that'll give more room for it. So yeah, I question that order. I overheard the whole thing, but I don't think that order is true.
And okay, so what is it that you notice that makes you doubt the legitimacy of that order?
I think that the seal that he used, I think I spy it on his person. The seal that was used to seal the order, I think I see a copy on his person. So he has a seal.
Excellent. Yeah, so you see that, and you're both in deadlock. What do you? Okay, so for you, Graven Hunter, you're talking with someone from your sect, and they gave you an order that you perhaps don't enjoy executing, and then this rando just attacks. Well, actually, this rando attacks, and then you see that this is the the picture, like the same person as in the picture. What do you do?
Um, so I would probably I think I would recognize that this is Red Ray. I think we established that yes, he was my friend. I may not have seen him in a while, but couldn't have changed that much. You know, could I pounce on this opportunity to, I guess I'm making the decision that the only way to save my friend is to kill our mutual enemy, or at least to cast them out.
Yeah,
Can
sure.
can I also duel, the same person, or
Of course.
okay?
Yeah. Why don't you roll with one of your 2 remaining elements?
Yeah, I know.
Quick, Red
Fortunately,
Ray, comfort and support.
yeah.
Well, can I do that? Do I do that before he makes his roll or after?
No, you do it. You can do it after.
Yeah, it's like a mass comfort or support. So okay.
Cool. I guess I would approach this matter cautiously because I guess it's no light matter to attack a fellow member of the Many Venom sect.
Yes.
Does that seem fair?
Yes.
So
I mean, regardless, you would roll with your style element, so that doesn't matter.
okay, excellent, thank you.
It only defines how you envision your attack style to be. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. So that's a 3 plus a 2 is a 5.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. What does the hidden path look like?
The hidden path is all about obfuscation and landing, doing fakes or sort of landing blows in unprotected areas because you've done a feint or something to that effect. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a lot of, you think I'm here, but I'm really over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think what happens is you're fighting, and he's going at you with this like way bigger weapon, but he's fast enough for this fight, and you're dodging, and then at one point, as you're like kind of dodging one of his strikes, his hand, there's like a close up on his hand, and he flicks something, and then you go like, "Huh!" And there's a dart that goes to your neck, and oh, my friend, you are 100% poisoned. Take the wounded condition.
Oh, man. Okay.
And I'm going to say that when your hand goes to your neck, he jumps away. And okay, we'll come back to this. Many Timber Xiaohu, what are you doing?
Ooh. Let's see. What time of day are we dealing with right now?
This is midday.
Okay. I'll say he is taking a walk out around town. He's started off his day with a mid-morning tea, and now he is walking around and like waving to the locals who he presumes had all seen his performance yesterday. And he and Tiger Skin Guardian are walking around, and what he's trying to do is sort of case the town and figure out where the figure out where might be the best place for this washing of hands ceremony to occur, and how to set it up to best facilitate what he wants to do with this ceremony.
Okay. So would you like to roll for that, or did you want to have a conversation with Tiger Skin Guardian as well?
I think he'd roll for I guess it'd be a study move, and then he at the same time he and Tiger Skin Guardian can be having a conversation about the events of the last day or so, and how to deal with the situation going forward.
All right, you can go ahead and roll. What are you rolling with?
Let's see. Well, he is trying to be in control and calculating. So I'm thinking metal, which isn't his greatest one, but I think it kind of fits this situation.
Okay, go for it.
That is, woo boy. That is a 3. So
Okay, mark metal, please. Um. Hmm. I think while you're walking around, Tiger Skin Guardian has been just following you, like he usually does, just one step back, in case you need him to pass you anything that you may need. And then there's another servant probably holding an umbrella over you, and he says, "Wait, what does he call you, sir? I guess."
either sir or maybe like um, Master Shaohu, something like that. Young
Okay.
Master, something like that. I think.
So when he's being very serious with you, he calls you Master Xiaohu, and other times he calls you sir because you insisted on it. Because you're like, "Oh, I'm of age now. Call me sir." And he says, "Master Xiaohu, I think it would be wise for us to leave town."
I think Shahu is, he's paused for a moment to sort of just survey this particular area of town. And he looks back and he says, maybe, maybe you're right. But the problem is if we do leave now, this nonsense with Harmonious Owl will continue to plague us. If we deal with this Jade Serpent ceremony here and complete it satisfactorily, Harmonious Owl will leave us be, I believe. And at that point, we can move on without her machinations tailing us.
Master Xiaohu, I do not doubt your martial prowess, but how do you expect to lose to someone when they don't have the same expectation for you to keep you safe? This is a known villain. You will end up dead. You may end up dead.
You're right. The Jade Serpent is notoriously dangerous. That is something that everyone knows.
I've seen you grown up. I you you're like a younger brother to me, and I would not like for anything more to happen to you. And he kind of pointedly glances down at your hand, which is missing two fingers.
But it has a very, very stylized glove now to highlight the fact that that hand is missing two fingers.
Hmm.
Uh, and he sort of like holds his hand, sort of opens and closes it, and he says, "I, Tiger Skin Guardian, I understand your feelings in this regard, and I share your concerns about the situation. but I believe that I need to complete this task in order to put to rest several lingering problems, most notably the business with Harmonious Owl. And
Harmonious Owl does not matter. She is only a local authority. We have traveled far and wide. Again, I cannot emphasize to you enough the danger of this jade serpent. And when he says this, you hear the sound of someone falling or some heavier thing falling. And you both turn around to the side, and I think you've wandered into a quieter area. It's still near the center of town, but it's a quieter area. Has more trees, and you see collapsed on the ground is a woman. Um, she is clutching her side, and you can tell she's wearing. What is she wearing? Hold on, let me see. She is wearing she's wearing all white, and so it makes it very obvious that there's blood seeping from her side, very rapidly. And when she looks up, her face twisted in pain, you see that well, the first thing you notice is that she's wearing kind of askew the a mask, half mask with a jade serpent on it. And the second thing you notice is that you know this person, and it's Dancer of Loss.
I think
So we're gonna go to Perfected Starfall. You said that you wanted to go and speak to your brother?
Yes, we can definitely do that. I was either
Or
gonna
did you have something else in mind?
that or go to see many-tempered Xiaohu. So we have multiple things to talk about, I think. But yeah, it's been a while since I've talked to my brother. That's probably a good thing to do first.
Okay. I mean, you can find your brother in his office area.
His very ornate office.
Hmm. He enjoys nice things.
Mhm. Just like someone else we know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think because of his station, I will politely knock and announce myself, not just barge in.
Ah, sister. Please come in.
Thank you, brother. Do you have a moment? And I kind of scan the room to make sure no one else is in here with him.
Ah, and he waves his hand and dismisses one of the students of the school, and the person bows and leaves.
Ah, yes. Well, I don't know how to say this, so I'm just gonna be blunter than usual, but I just met the Jade Serpent. And I have
And
reason to.
there's a
Go ahead.
moment where he was raising his cup to drink tea, and he just "Ugh," and it falls. You what? And then the cup kind of is spinning on the table.
Yeah, I think she goes and picks it up and kind of wipes off where it was spilled and puts it back on its cup or on its saucer and says, "Yes, I spoke with her outside the city, so I can definitely confirm she's here. And it also appears she's been in contact with you, brother, and that is what I came to talk with you about."
I I don't know what you're talking about. He knows what you're talking about.
I saw your seal on a letter on her person. This is not something that can be mistaken. This seal, I saw it every day of my life growing up. I promise you it was yours. What relationship do you have with the Jade Serpent? Is this washing of hands ceremony something you orchestrated?
I do not I do not I do not wish for you to involve yourself in this business.
I understand. If it is a personal matter, just say so, and I will follow your orders as you have already handed them down to me to make sure the ceremony goes well. But if this involves the clan, you must tell me. It's not solely to rest on your shoulders.
Do you think you're studying him, or do you think you're trying to hearts and minds him?
I think it's more hearts and minds.
Okay. Go for it. What are you rolling with?
Not fire or metal. I think I'm rolling with wisdom at this point, so we'll go water.
Okay. Oh, by the way, everyone else, when you fail a roll, make sure you take that experience.
So that's an 11.
Great. And he kind of deflates. And he just like sits down on his chair and puts his face in his hands. Sister, I have to. I have wronged her.
You have wronged her. That was not what I would expect you to say.
I have wronged her and her clan. And this is my burden to bear.
What clan is this you speak of?
It is the clan that you think of. Frosthearth Palace.
This is dire. I think since Perfected Starfall knows Gentleman Bao Yin is from Frosthearth Palace,
Mhm.
I think she would probably roll interconflict at this point,
All
to be
right.
honest.
Go for it. What you rolling with?
I guess we'll go with Earth, since fire is marked already.
I'm telling
Also,
y'all, you need to go and see and comfort and support each other.
I know.
Start having these plot conversations.
Okay, that's an 8.
Okay. Do you want to mark it or do you want to run away? What does this look like?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave. I think this revelation passes over Perfected Starfall's face. She kind of stares daggers back at her brother, disgusted almost. And then,
Oh, interesting.
and
Making a lot
then,
of assumptions.
right,
Good.
of course. We see like a single tear roll down her cheek as all the realizations come over her, and then she just turns and storms off without saying another word.
Yeah. And I think the last shot of this scene is just it's like one of those like circular doorway slash windows, and that like also has a view of outside, and there's the cicadas being super loud, and it's just him with his face buried in his hands.
Yes, perfect.
Now, our two friends, assassin slash target, co co-conspirators. We're back in this side street. And all right, Red Ray, Red Ray. Yes. You see your friend has just been struck by what you know to be a poison dart.
Okay. I immediately go to Graven Hunter's side, and Graven Hunter, you've been stricken by the toxin. We need to get you to shelter. Remember your breathing technique.
It's just a scratch. Let's finish this.
Wait, what are you trying to finish?
I don't
Well,
know. Our foe, he's delirious. Our foe's gone.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I
Oh,
missed
no.
that detail. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, he ran away. He like whoosh and jumped out of there.
Oh, so sorry about that. Okay.
That's okay.
Well,
You're
no, I
poisoned.
am delirious. I think that is perfect. I think Graven Hunter looks like he's in a stupor and he's still, throwing punches and just being generally aggressive and belligerent. How about that? Maybe that feels like a perfect symptom of the toxin.
Yeah. Well, what? Red Ray, do you just like?
No,
Do you?
I hold him down and
What's your chains?
I don't know. I'll sit on him. I force him to use the many venom sect I don't know, technique to control the poison. So I go through the mantra with him to make sure that he does it.
That's great. That sounds like comfort and support.
Yes.
So let me make that roll.
What are you rolling with?
Fire.
Okay.
Hold on. I rolled a 7.
Great.
I mean, no, total of 7.
That's good because yeah, if you marked your style element, that means you can't fight. But you didn't
Yeah.
have to mark it. Okay, so comfort and support. Let's see. When you comfort and support someone on a hit, they hear you. They clear an element or add a bond with you. And then, well, 10 plus, you can also get extra things. But
So is that Graven Hunter's choice or is it my choice?
what do you mean? Oh, they get to make that choice.
So just I've got a quick clarification question for you. I think I failed that last roll with metal, which was my fighting element.
Mhm.
Would I have marked off the box there?
No, because I told you to mark wounded.
Gotcha. Okay. So then I can go ahead and clear another box and
Yeah, you can clear one of the ones that have been checked. Which one would you like to clear?
I think I'd go with water. Awareness, wisdom, and flexibility. I think I could apply that to many situations. So happy to have that back.
Are you sure? Because with wounded, that's a -2 to every single roll you make.
You're absolutely correct. Yes, that wounded would be the better choice. Yes, you're right. Excellent.
Okay, and what does that look like? How are you like walking him through this, Red Ray?
I begin by unmuting my mic, and then I start him on the first part of the litany, and he eventually repeats it, and we go through the whole thing. It's maybe 30 seconds of concentrated effort.
Okay.
You want more?
Oh, I wasn't sure if you like. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No. I think that it's mostly Graven Hunter's doing, right? I'm just starting it, and then Graven
Right.
Hunter is completing the technique, and I think that purges the poison since casting blaze is of the same sect. We all know this technique, in
Mhm.
case you know.
Yeah, and I kind of want this to like cue a flashback scene to when you were both kids, and you were both at the school, at Many Venom Sect, whatever side headquartered place, where you happen to be both training together. Um, and I would love just like something about um how you uh either how you both became friends or how Red Ray found out about Saber Jachi. But I would love like I feel like this transition is you're both kind of chanting through this whole like process of like it's some kind of a you said litany, right? So it's like that whole thing, and then that brings up memories of another summer and in days gone by.
So which do you prefer, Eduardo? Do you prefer the childhood flashback or the conspiracy flashback?
Oh, the conspiracy flashback sounds more interesting if you've got an idea. I mean, otherwise, I've got something I could suggest for the childhood flashback.
The conspiracy flashback's better. I think yeah, so I think a few months ago we go to like a setting at night, and I think Red Ray is in some other city, and he's being pursued, and no, we'll do it even better. I think this is at the headquarters of the Many Venom sect, and Green Saber comes into the headquarters and barks out a list of orders to her underlings, who immediately fly off and perform or execute the orders. And the camera pulls around, and Green Saber pulls off her hood, and it turns out to be Red Ray in disguise. And Red Ray goes into um, the inner sanctum and reveals the real orders, and it shows that that Graven Hunter has been sent to find Jade Serpent, and it's hoped that he doesn't return.
Hmm.
So no interaction between the two characters. Great.
Well,
yeah, and then we can cut to okay, I think that's good. That's good as one of the flashbacks, and then we can also do the childhood flashback. How about that?
yeah, that works for me.
Sure. Cool. Man, I mean, maybe it's gosh. I guess I'm thinking that maybe Red Ray and Graven Hunter are under 10, let's say 8 or 9 years old. The image is sort of like two small, sort of bald kids with just sort of maybe acolyte, almost like a uniform, just maybe basic linens or something like that, and they are playing by some rocks and by the river, and perhaps Graven Hunter falls into the river, and it starts to get swept away, and Red Ray rescues him. Just sort of not unlike this scene where Red Ray, gives comfort to Graven Hunter. Does that seem fair, or is anything else that you want to add to that? Maybe, I mean, something that, like, up the stakes, or
Yes. So we'll say in the river, Graven Hunter gets bitten by a water scorpion,
and
then they have to do the litany right there.
oh yeah,
And we'll say Red Ray doesn't know it. So Graven Hunter has to, well, even while Graven Hunter's poisoned, has to force himself to recite the litany, and that's
cool.
how Red Ray learns it.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And now we've oh, I don't want to do this, but do I? And now we flash forward to the present. And Graham Hunter, this is your childhood friend. Pretty much like your brother, because you don't know who your real brother is, if you have one. And you have been ordered to kill him.
Yeah. So I think I'm coming out of this sort of toxin haze, and Red Ray is there, and I think my first reaction would be to sort of grip him firmly by the arm and just declare, I mean, you're in danger. What are you doing here? Where did you come from?
No, you're in danger. Far more danger than you realize.
But
this business with Jade Serpent is exactly what they want you to do.
Yeah, casting blaze, and I guess I sort of dig around for that parchment piece. I don't know if I'm still holding it or would have tucked it in my shirt, but I show you that crumpled scroll, and they're out to get you. They want me to get you.
These are false orders. You have to trust me.
But if I have these false orders, well, then so does everyone else. You need to get out.
No, you need to trust me. You need to do what I think is best. Isn't there a move for this? Can I basically convince you?
You can try to hearts and minds.
Well, maybe not yet, because I'm not sure if we're really like at an impasse yet. Like we're both saying like we got to do this one thing, but it's not really like at cross purposes.
Yeah.
Listen. Do you have a place we can talk?
Yeah. I mean, I've got just a humble little sort of humble little place that I'm staying at. I mean, it's just a cot, a table, and a chair, and some bowls. But here, I mean, we need to get out of here, I guess, before the people start coming out of their afternoon. I guess is that again sort of the custom of the village is to take sort of this afternoon nap.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to just get out of here is basically it.
Yeah, let's go there. And also, I need to know everything you know about this Jade Serpent.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so as you're going on your way, I wanted to double check with you, Perfecta Starfall. Whither are you headed?
So Sour Sadness Bear cannot comfort and support me. Therefore, I think I am headed to to look for Mini Tempered Shahu.
Great. So you're going to the center of town where that fancy tea house is. Where, of course, Mini Tempered Shahu is always there, right? Right?
Yeah.
Great.
And Jade
So,
Serpent stays there now too, so it's great.
oh yeah, best combination ever. You head over, and I think this is a very good scene for us to have where it's you. Oops. And how are you dressed again?
I think I'm still in the kind of gray, expensive but not ostentatious gray robes.
Yeah. And so it's these robes flowing behind you, and you're walking down the busy streets, and then on the other side, like opposite end of the street, we see the camera goes to the two friends who, if I remember correctly, are both in love with you. Great. That's what I want. And it's like there's just that moment where like you're the three of you are standing there, and then everyone is just kind of walking around you. Like,
One of those crowded street scenes.
yeah, and someone's like, oh, stretching, great nap, and then one person's like, haha, chatting with their friend.
So Graven Hunters is right across the street from me at this moment.
Graven Hunter and Red Ray. But we're just gonna have this moment.
Okay.
And Minotaur Shahu.
Yes, since I saw the partially falling off Jade Serpent mask, is it appropriate for me to now roll inner conflict?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. I guess this situation is going to lead him to have to deal with mastering his competing passions of fear and longing, and I think that's going to mean fire.
Cool.
So let's see if the dice will do me any better. Okay, that's not so bad. 8.
8. All right. You know the drill.
Yep. I gotta
Wait,
figure out-
what does this look like? What? How does it look like you're losing your cool? Maybe, possibly.
I think his eyes and Tiger Skin Guardian has just been sort of slowly turning around. Like this is all happening before he completely turns around, because he was walking behind me and looking at me while he was talking to me about how dangerous Jade Serpent is, and maybe back behind him is Dancer of
Dancer of
Lost
Lost.
with the slowly askew, with the slightly askew mask, so that I can tell it's her, and this seeming wound in her side that's coloring part of her dress a reddish color, and
Blooming like a flower.
yes, and his eyes are just basically flicking from the mask to the wound to her face, and you can see like that, you just see these flashes of those three things, like the wound, her face, the mask, is back and forth. And I think he's going to mark an element here, to be able to maintain his composure in this scene.
Great. I'm gonna get you to mark fire then.
Okay. And he basically shoves his way past Tiger Skin Guardian quickly, like way more quickly than we've probably really seen him move outside of that little martial arts demonstration he did. And he runs up to her and sort of, is she falling? Has she already fallen? Like,
Yeah, she's falling on the ground.
Okay. He immediately, like, he has, of course, his ridiculously ostentatious clothing on. So like he swings one of his sleeves out to sort of cover the side of her face with the mask, and he sort of removes the mask from her and like slips it into his sleeve.
Oh, yeah, when you try to do that, her like, even though both of her hands were clutching her side, one of her hands immediately goes to your hand as you're like as you're trying to take off her mask, and she like clutches your hand very, very hard.
And he whispers, "You can't be seen in the mask here in public. We must get you somewhere safe."
And she's kind of like also doing a breathing technique to try to breathe through that pain. That I feel like every martial artist worth their salt has been taught ever since they were a wee babe. Maybe not a wee babe, a wee child. And so she's doing the and she very like it's hard for her to do this, but she like kind of removes her hand, and it's just above your hand as well. But she's no longer clutching your hand.
Okay, and he sort of slips it into his sleeve so that it's concealed.
Yeah, and Tiger Skin Guardian runs up behind you and says, "Master Xiaohu." And you hear the warning in his voice.
"She is hurt. We must get her somewhere safe." And he's going to try and, if he can, get her back to his rooms at the inn or at the tea house. And he says, "Find me a physician, not
Harmonious Owl.
Harmonious Owl." Well, he's pausing for effect there. Not her again.
This is interesting. I almost want you to roll to see how well you can get away with supporting a bleeding woman without being seen? Or do you not care that you get seen?
Well, I think at this point he's not necessarily caring if someone sees him like assisting an injured woman, like that. Now that he's gotten the mask off of her, now it just looks like she's been attacked, and he's trying to help her.
Okay.
And
I mean, if
and
you
that's
walk through this,
and that's the show that he's making. Like he's gotten the mask off her, so now that he feels like he can publicly move through the streets with her as an injured person and not have to worry about people seeing the mask. So he's like, make way, this woman has been hurt. And he is heading for the tea house. Summon a physician. And he like nods to Tiger Skin Guardian to go get a physician quickly.
okay, I'm definitely gonna get you to roll overcome.
Okay.
Then, because I think there's a lot more moving parts present that may or may not affect this situation.
Okay. I guess I'm going to need to roll with water here for flexibility and able to deal with all the different moving parts in this situation.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, let's see if the dice are any kinder. Yes, an 8. Whew,
Nice.
that was close.
Okay. Oh, okay. 7 to 9. There's a complication. Sweet. There's a worse outcome or a hard choice. Okay, yeah, you're shouting to everyone, get out of the way. There's an injured woman, and everyone's like, "Whoa, whoa!" There's like the collective group gasp. But then someone says, "Wait, isn't that the the the, the lone survivor from the Frosthearth Palace?" And then other people are like, "Whoa, what's going on? This is she's dangerous. I've heard about the Frosthearth Palace." And it's the same people who are like, "Well, I'm so impressed with your skills." And a couple of them actually come up to you, these random people on the street, and they say, Sir, you have to get away from her. She's dangerous." And it's like, and then other people from behind, like some person who's just like selling fish, he heard this and he's like, what? And then one person's like, "Oh, it's that young man, the noble young man from yesterday. Oh, he's in danger of helping this very, very dangerous woman." And then the fish seller is like, "Oh, I can't stand for this," and then stands up, and everyone just kind of like surges forward, and is kind of like pressing up closer to you.
At this point, I think he says, "Stand back. I have the situation in hand. She is no danger to me. She is no danger to anyone at this point. We'll summon a physician and find out what has occurred."
And then
Make
one of them says, no, sir, you have to give her to the magistrate. The magistrate will deal with this. The magistrate knows medicine. It's too dangerous for you to handle yourself.
And finally, in an exasperated hope to just get people out of the way, he says, "Very well, summon the magistrate, but I will be taking her to the tea house immediately. And make way!" And
they kind of like,
and he curses under his breath as he's carrying her now because he knows the magistrate will be there.
Yeah, I think she can still walk, so maybe she's just like leaning on you, and she doesn't say anything. But everyone is like, oh, okay, and then like whispering to each other. Whilst like one kid is like his mom is like, "Go, run for the magistrate," and then he's like, "Okay," and runs away. Great. So you're going to the tea house. Excellent. I think this is a great place to take a brief break. And when we come back, we're going to resolve this street scene between 3 or 5 PCs, and then we'll also have possibly a conversation between many times Xiaohu and Dancer of Loss. So let's take another 5. So let's come back at 8 after.
That's a great solution, Gene. Quit walking into the basement. That's just perfect.
Problem solved.
Hey, that's exactly what my doctor would say. Your head hurts? Well, or it hurts when you lift your knee? Well, just stop lifting your knee. Excellent.
Eduardo, I can't believe you've gone this whole session and you have not introduced Gene to Bucket yet.
Oh, no. I've got to come up with the next inanimate object that we're going to sort of imbue with, with some character. We'll figure it out. It might be a homing pigeon,
All right. Where did we leave off? So we're on the street with Perfecta Starfall standing on one side, and on the other side, not like across the street, but on the opposite ends of the street, we have Graven Hunter and Red Ray. Red Ray, it's so your entanglement says that you love Perfecta Starfall. So you must have met Perfecta Starfall before.
Maybe I just love from afar.
Great. Love from afar. So first time meeting in a while. She definitely sees you.
Okay.
Do you, do you freak out?
Well, this is kind of a weird situation. I think that that Graven Hunter's condition is slightly more important, but I'm not even sure Perfected Starfall knows who I am. Maybe this is something that I like completely unrequited. So, but I do think that Red Ray stops suddenly and kind of puts his hand on Graven Hunter's shoulder and say, "What is she doing here? This is unexpected."
this is unexpected. Graven Hunter just sort of declares. This feels like a perfect time for another internal monologue by Graven Hunter, where he's just sort of like, I declared my love for Perfected Starfall, and she just scorned my advances, and now I've come across her here in this public place. I mean, let me gather myself, and there's the element of sort of self-puffery going on where he's like tucking in his sort of commoner's linen shirt and straightening out his hat, and the beads of perspiration start to form on his forehead.
Perfecta Starfall. So Graven Hunter, who Sour Satis Bear has a lot of opinions about, declares to be super suspicious, is looking pretty beat up and very pale, even though it's a very hot summer afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I am definitely going to approach them. I think I'm fine, Gene, with me not knowing who you are for now. So, so yeah, I'm just gonna walk up because I need all the opportunities I can get to try to prove Sour Sadness Bear wrong about Graven Hunters. Great Graven Hunter, great to see you on the street. You're not looking so well. And excuse me, my name's Perfected Starfall, she says to Red Ray.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's wonderful to make your acquaintance. Finally. I mean, not that it was meant to be, but it's a delight to meet you.
Oh, I guess my my name and position here precedes me. Perhaps Graven Hunter said something about me.
Perhaps. And I look over at Graven Hunter.
And gosh, Graven Hunter's just sort of at a loss for words. Doesn't know. I mean, do I just, again, internal monologue, do I just pretend like nothing happened? Or, maybe I just didn't try hard enough and I need to, present myself even better.
Okay, this sounds like this inner conflict.
Perfect. Thank goodness there's a mechanic for this. um, so I think this would go to metal, control, calculation, reflection. Does that make sense? Oh man, with the fours again. That's a 6.
Would you like to burn one of your bonds to bump it up to a 7? Or
yeah, I guess I'm just trying to think how would it sort of fit narratively. I guess my bonds are with Gentleman Bao Yin and with Many Venom Sect. I potentially, perhaps I could leverage it this way. I could potentially lean on, Perfected Starfall. I have some very interesting information about. Oh, I think we just lost Perfected Starfall.
oh no!
I guess I was going to suggest I could lean into Perfected Starfall and confess that I have some suspicions about Gentleman Bao Yin's parentage, and use that as just like this reset
That's great.
to
That's
pull
great.
myself together.
And then you'll have a 7, which means you get to either mark an element or run away from the situation. Oh wait, I think we got a message.
Oh,
So it's like,
yeah. I think he said just lost internet trying to fix.
oh no, oh
Yeah.
no.
Well,
So I guess we're gonna hang. Okay, so first of all, is that what you say?
I do. That is exactly what I say.
Great. And then immediately after,
And then I immediately run away. But I can't tell you right now because uh, this is just much too crowded a place, and this requires a moment of confidence.
Joshua's back. Or is he?
And then I run away.
Okay, so Joshua, great, welcome back. Eduardo, do you want to just repeat all of what just happened?
But it was so great. I don't think I'll be able to repeat it. Yeah, no. So I confess. I sort of lean into you, and I say I have some rather confidential information about General Bao Yin's parentage that might be of interest to you. But this is much too public a place to talk about such a sensitive matter. Perhaps I will see you later. And then I run away.
Awesome. Red Ray, do you run away as well, or do you stay
No,
behind?
because I didn't make a roll and burn a bond or whatever just happened. I didn't need to. I just kind of I have to stay behind, kind of dumbfounded. I think this turn of events is a little much. So
Well, that was uncharacteristic. Graven Hunter is normally so composed, at least in my experience. How did the two of you know each other, if I may ask?
we studied at the same school many years ago.
Oh, so perhaps you can confirm for me then that there's nothing insidious or underhanded going on here with Graven Hunter, that he's a perfectly upstanding gentleman. Some people have been questioning his motives lately, and I would like to prove them wrong.
I perhaps we should talk this over. I can meet you for dinner at some point, and we can discuss this matter.
Yes, that would be great. I have some rooms reserved at the tea house, and she kind of points. It's a very tall building, I assume.
The tallest in town.
Perfect. Yes, let's meet tonight.
Very well.
If you're free, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
So the inner conflict mechanic, I'm a little unclear on it. So when do I
Oh,
roll that?
Oh,
When
okay.
would I, for example?
So if the situation touches on your entanglement, or if you feel like your character is experiencing inner conflict over the situation at hand, then you would roll.
Okay. All right. I don't think it applies this yet, but
I mean, this conversation has ended,
yeah.
but next time I will be more on top of it. Okay. Wow. What a contrast in the
So I
various
think at that
suitors.
point, I think Red Ray would have to like try to figure out where the hell Graven Hunter went.
Perfect. This dinner date is probably not going to happen. Because now we are going to we're going to the tea house where so you're oh my gosh, there's so many people around this tea house, and this is a pretty small town. So like people, they're generally like everyone is kind of poor, but they can get away with like maybe not being as vigilant with selling whatever thing that they're selling at that point that day. So everyone's just kind of crowded around. And to the point where the poor dog bone, who's supposed to be guarding the tea house, he's like, you can't come in, I can't. And then they're just like shove him aside. Um, and you and Dancer of Loss are on the topmost floor, and no one is actually venturing up there, but there's like a couple of heads peeking just up the stairs to see like, oh, what's going on, and people keep whispering to each other, and then the people who at the top of the stairs, they keep passing down messages. Oh, now she's lying down on the day bed, and then it just like goes down, and then when it gets to the very end, it's that she has collapsed and fainted or whatever. So the story just gets wilder and wilder. Um, and Dancer of Lost is kind of just sitting there on the kind of like daybed.
And I think it's has Tiger Skin Guardian gone to get the physician now?
He hasn't left because there's that kid that ran off.
Yes, but that kid
And
ran off to get the magistrate. Not but okay. Well, I'd ask him quickly. Get us some rice wine and some wet warm hot cloths. Yes, he's making stuff up that he thinks you might need for treating a wound.
Tiger Skin Guardian does not move. He's just standing there looking at you.
And Shahu like looks up and says, "What? She is wounded."
She will be tended to, Master Xiaohu.
And I think Shahu stands up and says, "What are you doing?" He's like leaning over, like to whisper sort of in his ear, "What are you doing?"
And he says, "What are you doing, Master Xiaohu? This is the person that you have to fight. And you're helping her?"
And he leans in. The entire point was that I did not have to fight her. Wasn't that what we agreed to with Harmonious Owl?
No, the agreement, if I may remind you, is that you would pretend to lose to her without harming her.
Yes,
This
that
was a
involves,
one-sided agreement.
and the best way for me to do that is to not fight her.
Exactly. So
See?
we should not call for help.
Help has already been called for. The magistrate is on her way.
Perfect. And he kind of like looks down in a way that like servants do. So like it's like a posture of respect, but you know that it feels almost to you like he's dismissing you.
That's usually how he like gets me to shut up so he can go do actual work.
Hmm.
Um, and I look at him for a moment, and I say, as and as my way of dismissing him, this is Dancer of Loss. This is not just some criminal.
And without looking up at you, he says, Master Shahu, you you may, of course, have dalliances, but I cannot stand for you to lose your way like this. And he takes one step back, still with that same posture. And and you kind of hear like the rustle of fabric and like and when you turn around, Dancer of Lost has stood up and she tries to like walk towards you, but then like she's just like she's also like like just like sweating with pain and like super pale. Um Thank you, but this was not necessary.
And I think Shahu approaches, turns back to her now that he has stepped away, and he focuses on her, and he says, "Necessity is not the question. The question was that you are you are a friend to me. You are someone I care about, and I saw you wounded on the street. Your 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 beautiful dress was stained with your own blood. That is not something I can simply ignore. You
And
have
she
not even
takes
told
another
me what
step
happened."
and she takes another step forward and she says, "Please give me back my mask."
I think Shahu nods. He reaches into the sleeve and removes it, and he says, "Is this truly yours? You are very young to be the Jade Serpent."
She takes it if you let go.
Oh yeah. He sort of
And
holds
then
it. He sort of holds it a little bit. He lets it go. I mean, she's stronger than he expects, so she's able to get away from him with no real trouble.
yeah, and she puts the mask on her face again. And how are you situated? Is
I think Tiger Skin Guardian is like maybe about 3 or 4, steps behind me in his in his posture that he was holding before,
mhm.
and I think I'm between her and the doorway, but the window is like back behind her, like because she was sitting on the sort of on the daybed. The window that the assassin had leaped out earlier is back on that the side that she's on, but the door down through the main tea house is behind me.
Yeah. So do you think you would be able to block the people who are like almost crowding up the top of the stairs from seeing her with that mask on?
I think so. Shaohu's a pretty big guy,
That's true.
and Dancer of Loss is as far as I've heard her described so far by Gentleman Bao Yin, she's not like large or unusually tall. So I think his general bulk would sort of block most of that, especially with that ridiculous outfit he has on.
Right. Which ridiculous outfit. Okay, that's great. Yeah, it's she one of her hands is still on her side, and you can kind of see like some part of like the blood is it's darkening because it's drying up. But there's still like it's still like very slowly expanding. And she takes a step back and she says, "Thank you." And then she turns and jumps out of the window.
And I think Xiaohu charges over and says, "Wait, don't!" And then I'm presuming she's just gone, like martial arts, phew, disappeared.
Light footing out of there. And then behind you, you hear, who's the wounded this time? It's Harmonious Owl.
And he motions her in and says, "Tiger Skin Guardian, close the door."
Great. I feel like we can save this conversation for next time, because I do still kind of want to get this this dinner date question mark in. First of all, Grim Hunter, where did you go?
How about just around the corner, because he still has this infatuation with perfected Starfall, and this sort of, this sort of feels like the kind of thing that Graven Hunter would do.
Yes.
Yeah.
From what we've seen so far.
I think, we're sort of writing this narrative for him that he's he's a little less than heroic. How about that?
Great. Let's just fast forward to like dinner time, which is it's summer, so it would probably be around six. Sun sets at around, or it starts to set at around 7 or 8, 7. So dinner time, let's say around 6. You go to the tea house. Wait, which one of you goes there first?
I was already on my way there to talk to Mini Tempered Xiaohu, so
Oh,
I would probably just hang out there until time for dinner.
this is such a great conversation too, though.
We can like do it next time though, have like a slight difference in timeline.
Yeah. Okay, so we can have the scene with Mei Xiaohu, Harmonious Owl, and Perfected Starfall next time. But now, let's fast forward to dinner time. And at this point, people have dispersed. They've told some wild tales about Mei Xiaohu kidnapping this very dangerous woman, and then when pressed for the details on this dangerous woman, no one can say. Some say that she is in mourning because she's wearing all white, and some say no, I've seen her kill multiple people. And then they said that she fainted, and then she began to puke up blood, and other people said no, she was drawing she's drawing all these different symbols with her own blood. Okay, like there were some like wild tales being told. And then everyone, as they were walking away and going home and then trying to find their kids who were running around, they're just like they're continuously telling each other these stories. So you've been there, and and Dogbone looks bedraggled. He says, "Oh, Master Perfectus Starfall, please have a seat."
As I understand it, it's been a rough day. You do a great job here, just let me say.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not a big deal. Well, please. And then he takes you to literally the best spot that you can get, just after the 2 floors that have been taken up, one by Miniature Xiaohu and one by Jade Serpent. Dogbone, yes, is the the person who works at the tea house, not a proprietor. He does a lot of odd jobs. Kind of always trying his best to make money. um and okay, and Red Ray.
I'm going in disguise. I'm going as Graven Hunter.
Great.
So
What item of clothing do you have of Graven Hunters?
Well, Graven Hunter is not. Well, let me see how he looks like. He just has martial attire, so I could buy that anywhere.
I mean,
So I
earlier in
planned
the
this.
day, he was wearing that hat, right? The hat.
I think we'll do a flashback, and I broke into his place and took his clothes.
Awkward. Great. Do that. So you walk in and perfect the starfall. You look up and it's not this random man that you met today who seems to know you. It's Graven Hunter.
Well, do you want me to make that roll for the imposter? Because I actually used a move.
I think that one is where if it seems like you could be found out.
I see. Okay.
Well, when you might be challenged.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you wearing some kind
That's
of
up to you.
a hat or something that is covering your face? Because Perfect the Starfall has definitely seen your face and has also definitely seen Game of Hunter's face.
Yeah, but this is what I do. I'm super disguising person. I'm the imposter, so I can assume a perfect disguise. There's no question about,
Okay, I'm just trying to say, like, if you
all-
wanted to roll for it, and which is like, if you could be challenged, then if you had a hat, it could be knocked off. I'm just trying to help you with the
Well,
narrative.
no. Here's the deal. Graven Hunter has a mustache and a beard, and I just have a fake one.
Great,
So
perfect.
there you go.
All right, so it's Graven Hunter for some reason.
So perfected Starfall. I go as Graven Hunter, and I guess are you already seated? What's the?
Yeah, I think I'm seated, and I've already ordered tea for both of us, something like that.
Okay, so I'm basing this off of what I saw earlier. So I assume that Graven Hunter already knows perfected Starfall. So I approach perfected Starfall and bow, do the thing, and say, "May I join you, mistress?"
Of course. We may be having your friend join us in a moment, but you're more than welcome to have a seat. And I think she kind of motions for another cup of tea and another chair, kind of thing.
Thank you very much. My colleague, my old friend, is delayed somewhat, so I've come in his place, and until he arrives. I fear that our encounter on the street earlier was a little awkward, and I wanted to apologize for the way I've been acting.
It was rushed, but I'm more concerned about you. You were looking pale, and we've been friends for a while. I certainly wish you no harm. Your best interest is mine. Is my best interest.
Indeed. I appreciate your concern. I've not been feeling well. This business with the Jade Serpent is troubling, and I'm concerned that you find that I'm not completely trustworthy.
Well, you know Sour Sadness Bear well. She is constantly and very vocally speaking against you. My goal is simply to find a way to end her complaints, dissuade her from her dislike of you, once and for all.
surely you don't feel that her concerns have merit.
I must confess I do not, but she is a dear friend of mine, and I do not want to throw her to the wind without some kind of looking into the matter. Please forgive me for even saying that, but that's how I feel.
I see. Well, your loyalty to your friend is a commendable virtue. I I feel that there's nothing I can do really to defend myself against those kind of accusations. If there's anything you can think of that I could do to prove my trustworthiness, I'd be more than happy to accommodate you.
Well, it was brought to my attention, and this is a small matter, but I don't know where you were trained or where you come from. What part of the country are you from? I would like to know more about your upbringing. I think it'd be good for our relationship in general.
Oh, I come from the north, which
Do you
you
have
clearly have guessed.
do you go
Sorry,
ahead.
the real Graven Hunter. Whenever you would like to enter the scene, because it would make sense narratively for you to do so. Please, just to clear it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I what's a good way, a good dramatic way? Perhaps I walk in and my eyes just like a laser beam, just immediately hone in on perfected starfall, speaking with someone who's clearly dressed like me but is not me. Would I recognize that it's Ray or
No,
no?
it's just someone who looks almost
Someone.
exactly like you.
You. Okay.
Frighteningly like looking into a mirror.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. I don't think Raven Hunter would sort of skulk around. I mean, would be like an 11. You know what I mean? This would draw a response.
So do you attack?
No, I think walks up to the table and just slams his fist. What is the meaning of this? What is going on? Who are
Who is this
Great.
you?
imposter? Who is this imposter? Dogbone, throw this man out.
Perfect. You get to roll the imposter.
Wait, who's you?
I
Which you is you?
it's clearly Red Ray because you have the move the imposter. So when you might be challenged, roll.
All right.
What are you rolling with? What element?
Good question. I'm gonna roll with Earth. That's
Great.
+1.
Mm-hmm. With your presence to try to convince people? Is that what you mean?
Yes. So I have to be focused to maintain the illusion, right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So all right. So I rolled a 7 +1 is an 8. So on a 7 and 9, so it's a hit. So I fooled them, but there's a delayed suspicion.
Yeah, so this is a delayed suspicion for Perfector Starfall. So Perfector Starfall, I guess this is just very, very puzzling to you.
Yeah, I think she's kind of looks at both of them. We've already rolled for imposter, so study's really not going to do me any good here. She turns to the real Graven Hunter and says, "Who are you, and what are you doing in here?"
Ooh.
I was looking for you to discuss the matter that we had talked about earlier today, but I don't understand what's going on here. Who
Well,
is
I
this?
understand it exactly. Someone has been posing as me, and clearly this is the source of all of the rumors about me. There's some imposter.
That would certainly explain the accusations from Sour Sadness Bear. But why? Okay, we need to get to the bottom of this. Let's all go to the magistrate right now. That's the only way to solve this problem.
There's no time for the magistrate. You must leave immediately and don't come back.
Does this sound like it's gonna escalate into a fight?
I think so. I was
I think
gonna.
kind of has to.
Yeah.
Okay.
gonna suggest.
I do want to give Perfected Starfall a chance to use no, there's no time. Sorry, never mind. Perfected Starfall. Next time you may be able to use the master move. Let's have a PC v PC duel. Okay, so it seems like Red Ray, you are the one really instigating this fight, right? Okay, so with PC versus PC duel, how it works is you offer the other PC or the other player something in order for them to accept your victory. So you can offer your unspent XP, your character actions, burning bonds, changes to entanglements, or anything really, as long as I am cool with it. It could be some very interesting, like dramatic things that your character will do as well.
Well, I don't have any XP to give, so it comes down to bonds, right?
Didn't you roll inner conflict and or fail?
I haven't failed a roll yet, so he must have me confused with the other Graven Hunter who has rolled terribly all night. So
I've been tricked. No. Okay. All
so
right.
I think I will burn. So I can burn a bond, basically, right?
Let me just let you know that you can make one offer, and the other player can choose to accept or reject that offer. And so I would think through more. And usually, like narrative offers are actually a lot more convincing. People tend to care about those more.
Sure. So clearly, this is an attempt to kind of clean up Graven Hunter's reputation. The bigger goal is to draw out the conspiracy some more. But to do that, Graven Hunter has kind of has to play along. So
if he wins, what do you if you win against him, what do you offer to him?
if I win, then that means that there's the story of the imposter that is true, and that will clear up the issue with Sour Sadness Bear. So that's what I'm giving him. What I would be giving up for me personally is that I think that Raven Hunter will eventually figure this out, who did it, and that will cause a rift between the two characters. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I'm offering anything in that discussion, but I don't know how this works.
No, that's a good like narrative consequence kind of offer. All right, so the real Graven Hunter, do you accept or do you reject this offer?
I accept. I think that's a really elegant explanation. Yeah.
Okay, so definitely mark XP. And I need descriptions of what this fight looks like. Do you pretend to use? You must. Red Ray, you must pretend to use Graven Hunter's fighting style, right?
Yes. However, I know Graven Hunter really well, and also he's a little injured, so I am definitely gonna. So I think the first thing I do is kick the table up into his face. So it's like one of these deals. And before he gets a chance, I pull his sword out of his scabbard. And I make a couple bad slashes at him. Graven Hunter easily dodges those, and I slip and throw the sword out the window.
But you get to win this fight.
Yeah.
That was
so I'm forced to improvise, and he's weakened.
Yeah, I
happen
mean,
to have
okay,
my
we can hear.
change and weight. Yeah.
Sorry. Did you want to add anything, Graven Hunter? That like your response, so then like you can kind of play off of each other, just so that Red Ray has something more to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I think Raven Hunter is just on his heels. It's almost like he can't wrap his mind around fighting himself. It's still not quite ready to sort of reveal, his sort of hidden identity.
Oh, so that's actually what's holding you back.
Yeah, yeah, I'm still waiting for the big reveal, and this is not that moment.
Except this other version of you is super skilled in martial arts.
Well, not really. The real clincher in this is that Red Ray knows Graven Hunter really well. So I think the fight ends pretty much with Red Ray sweeping his legs and then throwing him down the stairs. And you have to get your sword, so that'll give me a few minutes of perfected Starfall.
I was just thinking that perhaps I'm more insulted and than, let's say, physically hurt, or
Yeah,
just
puzzled too.
yeah, mentally, yeah, out of sorts than physically hurt. I guess that's maybe a better way of putting it. How about that?
Great. Okay, and the last little tiny conversation that you wanted to have with Perfecta Starfall?
Yeah. My lady, I sincerely apologize for you having seen that. That must have been disturbing. But clearly, this imposter has been spreading lies and rumors about me and acting untoward towards people. Perhaps you could find in your heart to forgive me and your friend Sarah Sandus Bear. If we could find some way to reconcile her issues that she might have with me. I must go now. I apologize for ruining your dinner, but I didn't want to keep you here all night. I was just stopping through. Please call on me as soon as you can, and we can continue this conversation at that point.
Yes, of course. I realize this could not have been what you had planned for the evening. Please go refresh yourself. Thank you for being so forward with me. I will go and speak with Sour Sadness Bear, of course, about all of this as well. And I think she turns to Dogbone immediately as he leaves and kind of mops up the real Graven Hunter and makes sure nothing else happens before Harmonious Owl gets here.
Great.
Okay.
And I want
I-
this. Oh, go ahead.
I think that that Red Ray then goes and writes a letter explaining himself to Graven Hunter.
Where do you leave it?
That's a good question.
You do like your sect always communicates with messenger pigeons, so there's that. Or you could just leave it at his home.
No, there's a roost, and well, I can't leave it because then there's Casting Blaze. No, I'm gonna have to. I know where his stuff is. I just stole his clothes.
Yes, exactly.
I go to his. I leave the note in
With his clothes.
Yeah. Eduardo, it's up to you to figure out what's in that letter because I probably won't be around for that. But I think this is really about the conspiracy and protecting his friend.
Awesome. And I want a closing shot of you leaving this town. What does that look like?
I think that oh yeah, I think that he folds the clothes of Graven Hunter and makes certain that oh, here's an even better idea. No, he concludes his business at Graven Hunter's place, and I think as he undresses, it's revealed that Red Ray is a woman, and there's another layer of disguise.
Nice. I love
So
that.
she clothes herself and disappears in the night, ready to cross Graven Hunter's path. again.
Wha- That's great. Okay, so that thus ends the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
Why did I attempt to use that word?
Can I add something real quick? Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Can I add something real quick?
Yeah. Go for it.
I think because we had said earlier that my suspicion was only temporarily put off. I think as soon as Harmony or Perfected Starfall has time to think about it, she realizes that the one who lost the fight is the real Graven Hunter because he doesn't know martial arts. And
Oh
so
my god.
she explains everything to Harmonious Owl and
like it.
Dogbone and apologizes, and we can see where that goes.
Oh, that's so good. Yay! Plot writing itself. Oh, that was good. Okay, so thus ends for reals this time. The question, quote penultimate unquote episode. And next time is gonna be the last one. But I really want to do we need to end of session. I almost forgot. Let's very quickly do that. So look at your entanglements, and we can go through them and see if you've touched on either of the highlighted or non-highlighted one. So if it's highlighted and we touched on it in the session, then you get 3 experience for that. And then if it's the unhighlighted one, then you get 1 experience for it. Let's start with Red Ray this time. Do you feel like your entanglements?
Yeah, I could have made this stronger, so I'm going to say no. But I probably could have made this really tie in with Green Saber, but I didn't. I didn't really do
I
it.
feel
But,
I feel like you did touch on it actually.
well, you're very kind.
Yeah, this is not like, this is not like a GM versus player kind of game. So if it's been touched on like it even not fully but at least tangentially, I think that's fine. And we had a flashback scene. We found
We
out
did.
about the plot, so I feel like that works. And then for the you love Perfected Starfall but no Dark Secret.
Yeah, I didn't really mind that, but that's fine.
Okay, cool. Graven Hunter?
Yes. Yeah. Once again, I mean, man, I guess we did hit on I love Perfected Starfall, and I did not touch on the whole Sour Sadness Bear, but it came up in others' scenes with relation to me. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, that's fine. It works.
I'm already at 8/8, in large part due to my many failures.
So
Do
you
you
can bring
wanna-
that level up and then add more to it.
Gotcha.
And then you suspect your friend. Okay, that one. No, right?
Right.
Okay. Many小虎.
See, I think we definitely got in his bond with Dancer of Loss. I'm not sure we really got into the Harmonious Owl bit. I think all they
Yeah.
did was sort of talk about that, but they never actually really did any sort of action involving it. So
Yeah. Okay. And Perfected Starfall.
Unfortunately, did not get around to my highlighted romantic entanglement, but definitely hit on the one with Sour Sadness Bear and Graven Hunter.
Oh, I guess so, because when you were talking to your brother, you didn't actually talk about the engagement.
Yeah, I didn't get to bring it up because of the inner conflict.
Oh, true. Okay. Yeah, so the general one, yes. Great. So that's the end of session.
Unless you could count me inner conflicting because of that entanglement being
Sure.
me hitting on it.
Why not? Next session is the last session.
Okay, cool.
Level up as you will. Okay, and now I really want to do Stars and Wishes. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with time. But if you need to go, just go. That's totally fine. But I did want to do this again, and we can do all around stars first, and then all around wishes. And let's go back the other way. So let's start with you, Joshua.
Definitely a star for Eugene for adding so much in such a short amount of time. I loved our scene there at the end and the way you brought in the real Graven Hunter and all that stuff, but was still kind of hitting on the Red Ray things was really spot on. As always, I think Agatha's characters are really good. All of your NPCs are really fun, and the scenes with like on the street and all the visuals are really hitting what I imagine from this genre. I still want a real scene with Graven Hunter and Mini Tempered Shaohu, so we'll get to those eventually.
Yeah, save that for the wishes. So I will type them down. And then we're just going around from left to right on the character keyboard. So just go ahead without me. Go ahead, Chris.
I guess I'll echo what Joshua said. I mean, the Gene just sort of brought in a whole lot of really cool stuff. I love that the dueling scene at the end there. That was awesome. That I was not really expecting anything like that, so that was a total surprise. That was awesome. Agatha, I enjoy the NPCs a lot. I love Tiger Skin Guardian. He is even more fun now than he was initially. Before he was just sort of the put upon the put upon assistant. Now he's like developed a whole lot more stuff, and I really like that. And Eduardo Graven Hunter is like he's so much fun to watch. Even the failed roles were so much fun. Not in a like not in a like just mocking you kind of way, but in just how you had to react to all of that stuff just continually going wrong. And I thought that makes Graven Hunter a much more relatable and interesting character. So overall, I just had a great time, and I thought everybody did a great job. Perfected Starfall is still a lot of fun. I'm not really sure what she sees in Mini Tempered Shaohu yet, but that's going to be interesting to find out too.
Yeah, I would just, I would repeat the comments that everybody else already said. Gene, it's always fun playing with you. I appreciate that you were able to make it to this session, and Agatha, similarly, I always have fun playing with you too. I cherish these moments when I get to play with you guys. The same thing goes with you, Chris, and Joshua. I mean, I'm so grateful that you guys are advancing the story, because if it was up to me, we would just be walking around with buckets on our feet, just sort of going in circles, afraid to sort of confront, but at the same time doing it like as a sort of, I don't know, just to have fun, I guess. Yeah, once again, I feel like I say this every session that, we do these games and it's almost like this masterclass in playing and GMing. And I really, really enjoyed myself. Thank you, guys.
Gene?
Yeah. It's a pleasure to play with Eduardo and Chris and meet Josh for the first time. And also Agatha, I suppose, is okay. It's kind of fun to play with like the one-shot character, because then you can like, mess everything up and then leave. So I had a good time. I thought there was all the characters are complicated in a good way, and they're so interesting. I'm not sure how you're going to put it together at the end, but I will watch the last one and see how you do it.
Yay!
I actually do watch these, so
wait, really?
which is weird. No, I watch a lot of the APs just because I just want to see how other people are doing things. So.
Oh snap! Okay, yeah, my star also goes to Eugene. I saw the way that you're like burn everything down, but also in a constructive way. That was very fun. I am glad that you went with that last fight scene. I think it actually brought. I feel like it's bringing story threads together interestingly enough, or closer to each other. So they're intersecting more. Like the whole relationship between Grim Hunter and Perfected Starfall is now intersecting with this Jade Serpent plot. And that's kind of it was like under the surface at first, but now it's brought to the forefront. So that's good. And also the Frosthearth Palace, we really got to flesh out what no, not Frosthearth Palace. Many Venom Sect. We really got to flesh out a lot of like what they're about and how kind of messed up they are, which is good. I love it. I love a good villainous sect. And I want Eduardo, props to you for just keep rolling those fails and and taking it in stride and kind of like enjoying that moment. I think that's very I really appreciate that because sometimes I think it could be frustrating, right? To keep having like fails and being like, but I just want to do something. But you take it and you're full of grace and I really appreciate that. And it's also fun to bring more troubles. Chris, I want to give you a star for really going along with my plot to make your character cry. I mean, it didn't happen, so we gonna see. But I appreciate that. That you hashtag not yet. Yeah, and I like that you're rolling with a direction that we're going with for the two more important NPCs in your life, in your not in your life, in Maytori Shahu's life, and then Joshua. I guess this is gonna tie into my wishes, and I will start with the wishes. But I have so many wishes. So my wish, first of all, is for you to roll your master's move and or fight, because I feel like you haven't gotten to fight, which is such a like a rookie mistake on my part. I'm so sorry. It will happen. I promise you. Um. Okay, so let me write that down. Fight for Starfall. The next one. There's no dialogue. No interpersonal scenes. All fights all the time. And oh my gosh. Uh oh my god, what's my other wish? My wish for Chris is for kind of like a resolution to this conflicting loyalties plot line for you. I feel like it would be really cool if you changed one of your entanglements. But it's up to you, obviously. But I would love a resolution for your character. Resolution between Tiger Skin Guardian and Mini Tempered Shell. Ooh, great. That's my wish for you. And then my wish for Graven Hunter is uh, for a reckoning between Graven Hunter and I guess also his loyalties, but like and many Venom Sect and or Jade Serpent. I need to type these down as well. Reckoning for Graven Hunter, yes. And many Venoms Sect. Yeah, and I have one for German Ballerina as well, but that's fine. That's he's not here, so we won't talk about it. Kurt isn't here. And let's go back with Eugene.
What are we doing? Wishes?
Wishes, yeah.
Oh, well, I wish I could play more, and I definitely can't play next week because I'm running masks. But yeah, it was fun. I also wish I'd play with Kurt. Kurt and I go way back, so like before Gauntlet stuff. So yeah, he's always a pleasure to play with, especially because he does all the summary work, which is useful.
Yes.
Yeah, and I wish I'd seen more mechanics. I think I do want to learn this game a little bit better. So I only saw a little bit, so I wish I could see more of that. But what I saw was great.
I can run it for you again at some point.
Can you?
You doubt me, Jean?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I
well,
won't
no.
then. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we'll talk. Cool, cool,
Sure.
cool. And let's go back the other way again. Everyone, just go on the character sheet.
Eduardo, that means you. There you
Yes,
go.
I was just gonna say, me next
Ask Han
question.
Solo.
Wishes. Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of actually typed it in. I am looking for some sort of. It's like all got to somehow come together for Graven Hunter, and I mean, I just thought there's got to be some sort of redemption scene, and I'm not quite sure what it looks like or what does redemption mean for him, but this has got to sort of like build up to something. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? There's got to be a hockey stick or something to that effect where it kind of turns around.
Okay. Okay, we can talk about what that could possibly involve in terms
Sure.
of like who else and towards what end. We can talk about that. But cool. I have that there now.
Yeah, and if I could just throw out one last thing, I don't know if it's food for thought, but I mean, like, even at the very end, Pink Panther catches the villain, even though if 9/10 of the film he's been chasing sort of the wrong person. Does that make any sense?
No, can you
No? Okay.
can you not speak in metaphor and
Yes.
sorry.
That's valid criticism. All I do all day is talk in metaphors.
So you mean like for Graven Hunter specifically, or for everyone to
Oh
catch a
no.
bad guy?
Oh no. I think really just Graven Hunter. I mean, it feels like this is sort of like the focus. You know what I mean of of the why is he here? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, but we can kind of I can happy to pitch thoughts or whatever. I don't know.
Okay. Great. Excellent.
Let's see, is it on to me now?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. For wishes next time, I posted a little bit of this in the chat, but like if it comes down to a fight, like I would really like to see the washing of hands, like duel scene between him and Dancer of Loss. I think that could be some really really good stuff, and see how I can come up with a way to put me on her scale.
Oh right. Oh right. Yeah. Remember, there's that move where you can get good. So
But somehow I have to actually figure out how high of a scale she is. I know she's stronger than I thought she was based on the mask tugging, but I don't know what I don't think Xiao Hu has really found out what her scale is. I think only Bao Yin knows that right now.
I mean, the way like it's fine. Like I feel like if one person knows, like you don't need to like have to make a study move to find out her scale and then get good. That's fine. That's too narratively burdensome. We can just skip to if you're like leveling up for whatever reason in the training montage. Okay, cool. Duel with Dancer of Loss? Question mark. Probably with her. Maybe. And last but not least.
So I was already thinking of a part of the reason I wanted to come and meet with Mini Tempered Xiaohu was to set up a training montage where we work together to learn how to defeat Jade Serpent. Because we're master student, right? It like makes sense. But yeah, Agatha, you have so much to do next session. It's gonna be crazy. All of the loose ends we have to tie up. I would like to use my master move. I don't really care if I fight anybody or not, honestly. But I also want Gentleman Bao Yin to say either yes or no to me, which means I need to break off the engagement between Xiaohu and other Gentleman Bao Yin. So,
I mean, this is the kind of thing that can happen in the epilogue, but so
True.
I wouldn't worry too much about that kind
that's
of
true.
that kind of plot thread that doesn't have a climax in terms of like the story arc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Awesome. Oh, okay. Great. And thus ends this session.